Welcome to Showboys and our official Demon Slayer Season 4 companion series. I am Chad. I have brought with me Brady, who happens to live here. So I guess I didn't really bring you with me because you live here.
Uh, yeah, I guess technically.
I guess
I do
technically
live
that's
here.
how that would work. We are back with what is going to end up being our kind of penultimate episode of the companion series. There's only one more episode after these two that we talked today to talk about. And that will be coming out next week. That will be the final episode of the companion series. Shorter season, slow season, as you've seen throughout the companion series so far.
Until literally the last episode, which is
until the last step, really until the final scene of this, the last episode we're going to talk about today.
I know.
It's just, I love it. But what's new, Brady? Tell me, talk to me.
Not
So you've
a
been
lot.
sick. So you've
I've
been sick.
Kind of sick.
You got your voice back a little bit.
Yeah.
So we kind of pushed. Yeah, we kind of pushed this back because of that. So we're recording a little later than normal. And unfortunately, we're recording this, I think, on Tuesday.
Yes.
And Sony decided to do a state of play today at 6 o'clock. So we're going to miss that. But maybe not a bad thing because their state of plays lately have been kind of trash. But I'm hopeful that we're going to get like maybe some Spider-Man DLC, maybe some Ghost of Tsushima news, something like that.
We'll miss it.
We're going to miss it, but we can watch it when we're done.
Sure.
And honestly, it's better that way because then I can just, even though I don't want to spoil it for myself, I could just like get on IGN and see if they announce anything good, and then we can go watch it.
Don't. No.
You want to watch the whole thing?
Yeah.
All right.
They're not that long.
So we did pick up some new Demon Slayer stuff at the store.
Yes.
A couple days ago when we went. So we got Nezuko's action figure from Bandai Namco. And your boy, Tengen.
Okay.
And I was excited. As soon as I saw these, I was like, oh, heck yeah, dude. Because so we have all the other 3 figures. And I didn't even know these were coming out. So I'll have to open these and put them up on the dresser with the rest of them.
Where did you want to get those again? I forgot. Was it?
What'd you say? I think it was Target. Yeah, I think it's Target.
Target, right?
So yeah, I'm gonna have to open these at some point and put them with the other ones that are up there.
Or you can do like those Spider-Man characters right above your name tag, like on your camera. You just keep them in the.
Well, I don't think I'm going to do that because I don't know if you can see. You can kind of see the Demon Slayer stuff over here.
Yeah.
But
all I see is Tanjiro.
That's where. Yeah, there's Tanjiro, Inosuke, Zenitsu from that same line. Mm-hmm. So I'll probably open them up. But anyway, let's start. Generally speaking, before we dive deep into the episodes, how did you feel about these 2 episodes? Episodes 6 and 7.
Still boring until about the last 25 seconds of the last episode we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
It is horrifying. And but also really cool.
Yeah. Horrifying, but really cool.
Really cool. And it loses a little bit of its luster, I guess, for me, because we've seen this already. But the first time watching that scene at the end, and we'll get to it with the scene that we're talking about. I don't want to spoil it yet, but it's sweet. I thought it was awesome. So, but I would agree with you for the most part. I think these episodes are definitely the best episodes that we've gotten so far outside of the first episode.
Like the training wise is pretty. I like the funny kind of aspect of it.
Yeah. There's a lot more comedy in this first one, and I think that's done purposefully because episode 7 is so dark, really, that they kind of make you laugh before they rip your gut out. But so we pick up on we'll jump into episode 6 here. We pick up on episode 6, which is called The Strongest of the Demon Slayer Corps. And the episode starts with Guillaume. Okay.
Yes.
Kind of explaining. I got it.
Oh, I'm so
So
proud of you.
we kind of pick up right where last episode ends. We saw them kind of get up the mountain to Guillaume's training grounds, if you will.
Oh, it's one.
Yeah, I messed it up, didn't I?
What were you? So what did you just say?
I think I said Guillaume.
No, I think you said Guillaumes.
Guillaume.
And you can't say his
anyway.
name.
We see him kind of explaining what his training regimen is, and it's going to be pretty simple compared to everything else that they've gone through so far. 3 steps is what he claims, and it starts with a cold. Totally. Yeah, it starts with a cold plunge. Huh?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, it starts with a cold plunge in a waterfall. What did you say? Are we delayed or something? Oh, okay. Lost my train of thought now. Oh, okay. It starts with the cold plunge. That's how the training starts. So there's like a waterfall and a little like river there that is ice cold, apparently. So they're going to start by doing a cold plunge in that. Then move on to moving like 3 logs. I think they have to lift up 3 logs, and then they have to push this giant boulder one show,
which is 358 feet, I think.
358 feet, according
to
Brady. Can
you look that up? Because I feel it's I'm between 385 or 383 or 353.
Did you like look this up before?
No, I think I saw it. It was at the top of the screen. It said 1 show equals 300 something feet. I think. Everyone.
Yeah, 1 show is 357 feet. Almost 358. It's like 357 eliminated. Yeah, you were close. You were definitely close. So we see Zenitsu, and Zenitsu in this episode, at least, is exactly like Daddy. Like, I hate the cold and everything that comes with the cold. I despise it. I
want to go cold plunge like really bad for some reason.
It's miserable. We did it at work. So my partner at work has one, and he forced me to get into it.
Really good for you?
It is really good for you, and you do feel really good when you're done. But it is 3 minutes. That's it. Of pure miserable.
I know miserable. Do that for like
miserably cold.
Like a half hour. Some people.
No, you can't do it for that. No, you can't. I mean, max probably 10 minutes, and that's probably too much. But that being said, we have a sauna at work.
Cold?
Huh?
Is it just really that cold?
It is.
How many degrees? I know degrees in water is super weird.
It is super weird because I don't know what the degrees is. It's probably like 60 degrees, but that in reality is freezing cold for water. I don't know what the temperature is for a typical ice bath. I don't know. We didn't take a temperature. We just filled it up with water and put 2 big bags of ice in it and waited for it to cool down. But it's for me, dude, it was like my feet. My feet were the worst part. Like every time, my feet were killing me.
Every time. Well, I haven't done a real ice bath. After football practice at one time.
You were doing like cold.
With the coldest water that it went.
Yeah.
And even in there, my feet were just. I don't even know how to explain it.
Dude, it's awful.
It like numbed them.
Yeah. That's the worst part. So I told him, I was like, here, I'm not doing this again. But if you do force me to do it again, like I got to wear some boots in there or something. Because that's the worst part. If I could just eliminate that, I probably could stay in the whole 3 minutes.
You put your socks on, to be honest.
I don't even, I would, but I don't know if that would even help. I think you need like boots. But we also have a sauna at work. And through the wintertime, I do the sauna every shift because I need some heat in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
So I can stay in that sauna for an hour at 140 degrees, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
For a solid hour, but I can't stay in the ice bath for 3 minutes.
Just an idea before since we're already getting off track. After I say this, we got to get back on track. But I think that we should at some point do a series where we just talk about random stuff. And I promise you, we talk about something, get off track, get on some alien stuff, and do like a 7-hour podcast.
Oh, we would.
Alien stuff.
If we just talked like we did in the hot tub on vacation, like with Ryan, We were just sat out there talking about space stuff and aliens.
It's just
and
so
everything.
Interesting. There's so much to talk about.
It is. That's not a bad idea. We might take you up on that idea. I might take you up on that idea because we do have some interesting conversations. And you see him kind of come out. You see him kind of come out
like
in
randomly.
the episodes. Like randomly. We're talking about Demon Slayers and somehow we're talking about aliens.
Yeah.
But
okay, back on track.
Yeah, back on track. So we see everybody's basically struggling with this water. And Tanjiro is even struggling with the ice water. And he sees Inosuke under the waterfall being Inosuke. And they're kind of like in a monk praying position under the water. Him and
I think Namu something Butsu or something.
Yeah, some sort of monk chant. And they actually say that is they're saying that so that the other members know that they're still awake, which makes sense. But he kind of watches them under there, and then Inosuke kind of stops talking, and Tanjiro has like a little freak out and like pulls him off and like resuscitates him, and he wakes up.
CPR.
Yeah, like CPR style. Yeah, and it's cool to see Inosuke, dude. I feel like Inosuke is like very underutilized here in the past 2 seasons. Yeah. Same with Zenitsu. But after all this pans out, we see them kind of eating a meal together. They're sitting around eating.
I also think that might be why, because they're focusing so much on Tanjiro because of the mark.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's getting toward the end of the story, right? So it's not there's not a lot of room for some of these side characters, but those are like some pretty big side characters. And I think Zenitsu is going to get a big arc, not a big arc, but
not big.
He's going to get a big thing coming here, and I think we get a little bit of a. Yeah, I know you were pumped for it. I think we're going to get a little bit in these episodes, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But so Zenitsu is basically like, I don't even think Guillaume can move that boulder at all. And
totally,
yeah, he's like seen in the background just like easily moving
the
boulder.
Speaking of that boulder is like 15 times the one that they're moving a trail.
Right. Yeah.
Which is crazy, and he's just.
Well, he's huge.
He's
I think we've only seen him maybe in season 1, when Tanjiro first gets to the Demon Slayer Corps is maybe the first and only time we see Guillaume until this season. But he is apparently the strongest out of all of them, and he looks like it.
Yeah, he's huge, and
he is massive.
I'll talk about that. Don't let me forget. There's something in the episode that I said.
Yeah. When we get to it, I know what you're talking about, because I want to talk about that too, because there's like a little heartfelt moment there that I want to talk about too. So Tanjiro eventually survives the cold plunge along with his Zenitsu, and I also love that they're like holding onto boulders for warmth.
I know,
like they're hugging onto boulders just laid out.
That makes sense. I mean,
yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
The sun's right on those rocks. Just hop on it and start hugging the rock.
Yep. So they move on to the second step of the training, which is to raise these logs up. And Tanjiro does it. Takes a lot of strength for him to do it, but he eventually does it rather easy. And then we flash back to town, and we see yet another one of these Demon Slayer bug eyeball things lurking through the town. And we get transported back to the Infinity Castle, to that ring demon. I forget her name.
An excessive amount of hair.
She does have an excessive amount. Yeah, she does have an excessive amount of hair. And she is the one we learned, I think last 2 episodes somewhere, that she's the one that is controlling these things and seeing through these things. But we also see who's controlling that. And Muzan is there, and he's basically guiding her to try to find some Demon Slayers.
Nothing changed in my mind. He's literally Michael Jackson. Like,
yeah. I see it. Yeah, I can see it, especially in season 1 in the town. I can't remember what the town is called where he scratches the demon. Dude, Michael Jackson he's dressed like him and everything. Yeah.
I to this day I still wonder if they based him off of Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
so there was like some weird thing with the Demon Slayer manga where like nobody, I don't know if it's still true, but at a time nobody knew who actually wrote it and like drew it and did it. Like it was like a pen name.
Oh yeah, I remember you told me.
You remember that? Yeah. So I don't know if that's still a thing. I don't know if that person has come out and been like, "Oh, by the way, it was me."
All I know is that I'm pretty sure it was a girl.
I think it is a girl. I think you're right. Yeah, I think it is a girl. I'm not sure if that has changed though, but I remember when I was reading the manga before we went on vacation last year. I remember reading that
right up until like the 7th manga in one car ride.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. And I'm like I'm caught up to where we were at the anime before this season. I haven't read this season at all. I can't imagine the season is more than like half a book or a single book, maybe. I could be wrong, but I don't feel like I have that many books left.
Yeah, don't get mad at me, sorry, book lovers. I just cannot get into reading. Doesn't matter what it is.
I can't either, dude. Yeah, I mean, I try, and every now and then a book will suck me in, but it's just like I'm like sitting there, like, dude, I could probably watch the movie of this book that is almost certainly made. Most of the popular books have movies or TV shows to go alongside with them, but I also could like play a game and like actually use my brain, and like, it's just
like just sitting there.
Yeah, it's like
for 5 hours just reading.
Yeah,
reading,
but that being said, I do like reading manga. Obviously,
oh, it doesn't
like reading.
What it is.
I like reading comic books. Yeah, I mean that's you're like daddy. I mean, I'm the same way. I would like to avoid reading at all costs, but every now and then something interests me. Like there was a Navy SEAL book that I read called No Easy Day that I literally think I read in like 2 days. I like could not put it down. So every now and then it happens, but not very often for me personally.
It never happens to me.
Yeah, but as you get older, that might change. The problem with the problem with you is there's like I feel like there's rankings of entertainment, right? So back in the day, that was your entertainment. Like you read a really good book with a really good story and really good characters, but then movies. No. Listen.
Oh.
Listen to me, not you. I'm saying back in the day, back before there were movies or any of that stuff, books were the entertainment. And then the next step up from that was movies. Movies came along and now they're putting all that storytelling on a screen and showing you what you would have read in the book versus you just sitting there reading it and imagining it in your head. And then I think today video games are doing to movies what movies did to books, where it's like now you can partake in the story. Now you can change aspects of the story. Now you can control every single thing in the story.
And what was before books? Was there anything before books?
Probably just stories, like telling stories out loud, I imagine.
Also, don't forget, was there audiobooks before movies?
Yeah, probably.
Then maybe audiobooks would.
Yeah, there's steps there. I mean, you could put like plays in there somewhere, probably.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Because it was
action.
Yeah, like live plays. But yeah, in your generation, and really even a little bit maybe in my generation, like books are just like I'd rather go play a game or I'd rather go watch a movie or a TV show, you know? And it sucks because there are times where I'm like, I wish I could just get into books, but I
know, same.
I can't. Yeah.
And the best part is, especially in school, if I could just get in the books. So when we have like silent reading in this thing we call Vike Time. It's just this thing that we do for a little. It's literally like maybe 40 minutes. And there's always 10 minutes of silent reading. I kid you not, I open that book and just stare at it to pretend I'm reading. Yeah. I don't read that book.
Yeah, you're me because I did the same exact thing.
Which is weird because you'd think, I love baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I have one of those who was or who is books about Derek Jeter, right?
Yeah.
You think I love that? Mm-mm.
No, I can't get into it.
No.
Yeah. I could go watch a 5-minute YouTube video
on the whole
that
book.
Explains everything. Yeah.
Yeah. A little summary.
Yeah, it's just a generational thing, I think. And I think books will always be around, but I do think that they're slowly dying.
I just really want to get into it. Because
I know.
time, when you're done with your work, they always say you can read. I could just do that.
Yeah, you could.
But there's always that time they're like, okay, you can get on the game. Okay, I'll get on the game.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move back here. So we find out that Muzan and this demon, I forget her name, have found about 65% of the demon Slayer core.
I did too. What is her name?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. We're just going to call her the ring girl because that's what she reminds me of. So they found 65% of the demon Slayer core, but they have not found Nezuko or the head of the demon Slayer core, Obuyashiki. That's right. Ubuyashiki. That's right. What is it?
Obuyashiki.
Ubuyashiki.
That's still Ubuyashiki.
Ubuyashiki. Nah, that's not right either. You're wrong. That's wrong. Ubuyashiki. There's no Ishiki. The two kind of discuss, and it's cool because Muzan's kind of like guiding her through her search. He's like, hey, he's got like, I think he has like a map in his hands. He's like, well, what about over here? Let's go check that out. Mm-hmm. And that's just a little short scene there. Little snippet of it. They're clearly, I mean, we knew what these bugs were. We knew that they were going to be like spies trying to find where everybody's at. But now we get confirmation that Muzan is actually controlling behind the scenes the hunt for Nezuko. But we go back to the boulder, and Tanjiro is again struggling to even budge this boulder in the slightest bit. He's on the final step of the training, and he's unable to even move this thing. And Tanjiro is really strong. We've seen him be very strong throughout the series, especially this season. We see him through the training being
Which is so funny after we're seeing Gyomei move that ginormous boulder with literal ease.
Yeah.
And then we see Tanjiro, and it takes him an episode and maybe a half, I think. A bit,
yeah.
To budget. So.
Yeah, that's about right. Then he fails to move this boulder at all, and then he's seen making onigiri for the crew that's training. Inosuke.
It's delicious.
It looks delicious, dude. You can't deny it. So he's making just regular onigiri, and then he also makes yaki onigiri, which is the fried rice ball, which looks so good. If I was to eat
anything, it would be that.
The fried one's really good, yeah. The fried one's better.
It's warm, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Daddy, when I made him here, I made that for myself, one of those. And it's just he's, basting it in soy sauce and frying it on a grill grilling it.
The reason I will never try soy sauce is because somebody told me all it is it tastes like straight salt.
It's very salty, yeah. But you need that for Chinese food because rice has no flavor. So when you put salt over top of it, it makes it taste better. Flavor. Much better, yeah. You'll like it. Don't worry. When you get older, you'll be dousing all your food in soy sauce because it's really good. Anyway, the members are kind of gushing over Tanjiro's cooking, telling him like how it reminds them of their family's cooking or their mom's cooking or whatever. And we go back to the boulder again, and we're failing to move it once more for a 6th day in a row. And Genya shows up out of nowhere, and he's back from being reprimanded for his fight with his brother. Mm-hmm. And they kind of discuss like what's going on.
Which wasn't Tanjiro also on a little thing like that?
Yeah, they both got in. Yeah, I think they all.
Wasn't it like a week
Yeah, they all got in trouble. Yeah, and then I think that they both have like they're not allowed to go around the older brother. Like it's like a restraining order almost.
I don't think anybody really wants to be around him anyway.
Right. Yeah, he's a grouch.
Does he have like any friends?
No.
He's a
jerk. Yeah, he's a jerk. But I thought this was kind of interesting. So Genya kind of points out Tanjiro's scar is getting darker. He's like, hey, your scar is getting darker. Like, do you know that? And he's like, oh, thank goodness. Like, the training must be working. Whatever's going on is making it darker.
Yeah, and just before we get deeper into the episode, like I said, if Shinazagawa was a I just said it wrong.
No, you said it right. Shinazagawa. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Anyway, if he was a real person and he managed to make a single friend, it could be a 2-month-old. I will sell his house. If he can manage to get a single friend, like how?
He's not. Yeah, he doesn't have any friends.
Could it?
No. Yeah, he's never going to have any friends. Yeah, he's just a grouch all the time. Like I get, like his backstory is really messed up, but he is a grump compared to like all the Hashira have really messed up backstories, right? So it's not he's not like this obscure person that has a really messed up backstory. Like they all have really super tragic backstories. So I don't know why he's so grumpy.
Yeah, and most of them are all nice, even the ones that don't have a. Well, I guess that would make sense if they don't have a.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, Genya kind of gives Tanjiro some tips on moving this boulder. He's like, I haven't moved it all the way yet, but I've been able to move it, and Tanjiro has not even been able to move this thing at all. And he tells him that he needs to focus on repetitive movements in order to move the boulder, which I kind of gathered as being like.
Yeah, I couldn't understand it at all.
I think it's like heightening their senses altogether, like focusing all their strength into it. And they're just calling it repetitive motions because they weren't doing any repetitive motions per se.
What I got out of it is it was something that's supposed to motivate you.
Yeah, that's what I get. Yeah, that's part of it. So Tanjiro kind of goes to the boulder the next day and he's like, all right, I'm going to try this repetitive motion thing that Genya said. And he says, like, basically, my first step of my repetitive motions is to envision my family that I lost. So we see like a little flashback of the family that was killed in episode 1. And then to remember the words that Rengoku said to him. And do you remember what those words were?
I think set your heart ablaze.
Set your heart ablaze. That's right. And he does this and he starts moving the boulder very slowly. Still struggling, still using all his strength. Yeah. His scar is starting to get darker as well as he's doing this. And he basically says, like, I repeated those steps over and over and over, and I was able to start moving the boulder and master this repetitive motion thing that Genya was talking about.
Which still just makes no sense.
It doesn't. I think it's just focusing your energy on focusing everything. Like taking your pain from the past and focusing on your goal for the future, right? So he starts moving this slowly, and then we see Muzan again. Muzan pops up once again, back in the Infinity Castle, and he's just sitting there basically talking to himself. He's like, I wonder what the Demon Slayer Corps are scheming. And he says, as soon as I find Ubuyashiki. God dang it, dude. That's wrong.
Dude.
What is it?
Ubuyashiki.
Okay. Demon Slayer Corps President. That's what we're going to call him. DCP. DSCP. Demon Slayer Corps President. That's his name from now on. So he basically is like, as soon as I find out what you look like, the day I find out what you look like is the day you're going to die. And that's how this episode ends. So I thought it was interesting. I thought they had like a history together. I don't even think they know each other.
If I'm being honest, I don't think they do. They may.
Like they don't. it doesn't seem like in this episode they've ever met.
Yeah. I mean, they might have, but it might be maybe we'll have to look back in the manga after this episode. You wanna? And see if we can find
Well,
anything?
no, because they definitely have not met during the show. I know that, or the manga. But I'm saying in the past, I thought that maybe this was like a running feud between them. But it does make sense, I guess, because Muzan is like immortal and
Mhm.
doesn't die from old age, and that's not the case for DSCP.
Dude.
That's
Just
just
call
easier. It's just easier.
Ubuyashiki.
Ubuyashki. Is that right? All right, I give up. Let's move on to episode 7. So episode 7 is called Stone Hashira Guillaume Himajima. Is that how you say it?
Actually, it might be. Maybe not.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So this episode starts with a bird flying through the dark, and he's got something clenched, like a note or like rolled up paper clenched in his talons.
Mhm.
And we flash back to Tanjiro moving the boulder from last episode. Inosuke moves the boulder as well, leaving only Zenitsu kind of left
Just laying
to
there.
do it. Yeah, and he's like, "Oh my god, this sucks! Like they both moved it. That leaves just me." And then this bird shows up and kind of sits down, and Zenitsu realizes that he's there.
Not to
And
mention, this is something 100% mom would say. The bird is really cute. Just
the bird is really cute. Yeah, I'll give you
it's
that.
so tiny.
It is. It is adorable. So he notices him, but then kind of ignores him. And then I think the bird like pecks him and
Yeah.
like I don't want to say bites him. I think he pecks him. And he looks down and he sees this note that the bird is carrying. And then we move to Tanjiro. Go ahead.
Hate about this episode, we never get to see what's on the note.
I have a guess.
He says something about it, but
well, I have a guess. Do you know what's on it?
No clue. I want to know so bad.
Okay, I have a guess. So we'll talk about the guess later because it'll come into play later. So we move to Tanjiro at the end of his pushing of the boulder, and he is just beat, like completely. Done, like laid out, eyes bulging out of his head, and he says he's really dehydrated. He didn't drink enough water to make just up for all the sweat. Just laid out. And I think he's starting to hallucinate. So he's seeing like Inosuke in the sky and Zenitsu in the sky, and then one of the lower Demon Slayer Corps members in the sky. And then Guillaume comes up with a thing of water.
And just pours it right on his head.
Pours it. It's hilarious. It like waterboards him with it basically.
And I think I might have got slightly dehydrated before, or maybe dehydrated before. It sucks.
Oh yeah, you've been you're probably always dehydrated because you don't drink that much water. That's a prime.
It's got electrolytes and stuff in it. It'll work.
It's true.
Okay.
That's true. That's true. So he gets waterboarded basically by Guillaume as he's giving him this water. And Guillaume is like, "Hey, I want to thank you because I think you made the right decision in the village." And Tanjiro is like, "What village?" He's like, "The Swordsmith village. You prioritized the lives of the Demon Slayer Corps over the lives of your sister, and that was the right move to make. So I respect you for that." And Tanjiro is basically like, "Whoa, dude! Like I didn't make that decision. She made that decision. Nezuko made that decision. So I did not earn your respect."
That was a really cool scene, by the way.
It was.
So cool.
So good. Yeah.
Maybe one of the best scenes.
I would agree with that. Yeah. I think that whole episode is a great scene.
Yeah. If I'm being honest, the whole season's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, but that final episode, dude, just the score on that final episode of season 3, like the music, it's so good. Like everything is
I don't think there was one slightly bad episode into season 3. They were all really entertaining.
Yeah, they were, because it was basically a huge fight the whole time.
Yeah.
It's almost a polar opposite of what we're doing here in season 4, where it's like no fighting.
Pretty much.
So Tanjiro says, like, I try my hardest to stay on the right path through all of this stuff, but sometimes I stray off and I have to have other people come and kind of pull me back on the path. And that's what Nezuko did that day, was she kind of pulled me back in. And this is when we get a little bit of a background story on Gyome. And I think that this is one of the best parts of this season, is this backstory of Gyome. So when he was younger, he was raising orphans in like a temple.
Yes.
So he was kind of the head of the temple, and he had a bunch of kids with him. And one of the kids is
Kaigaku.
And
I should let you say it.
Oh, I would have got Kaigaku. I've heard you say Kaigaku so many times that.
And why did you? What he sees. Did you want me to say it? Is that why you're hesitating? I thought you didn't know.
No.
Okay.
No. I just wanted you to say it because I know you love him. So we get this flashback, and they're like all sitting down to eat dinner in the classic way Japanese people do, which is sitting on the ground with like things in front of them, like trays in front of them, basically.
Which Nani has one of those things.
She does, yeah.
Which I loved. I don't know why.
You did like that thing when you were little.
I just like to like sit down and just eat. I don't know. I feel like.
It's cool. It's so funny because when you think about it, like, it's so polar opposite of what we have in America. Like, I'm sure there are still people in Japan that do that traditionally, sit on the ground to eat. I'm sure it's probably still a common practice there, but like, we would never. We have a dog. We couldn't sit on the ground and eat.
Yeah, we couldn't. He'd steal our food.
But it is always so cozy looking, and especially those, like, what are those? I think they're called kotatsus. They're like the little. It's like a table that sits on the ground, but underneath it is heated, and then it has a blanket around the edge. So you put your legs up under it, and then it's a table, and you just sit there, and you have like a heated blanket over top of you, basically, and it keeps your legs warm. Yeah.
I'm asking Mom to order one.
Yeah, I want one of those so bad. So they're sitting around eating, and the youngest out of all of them is like this little 4-year-old girl. And she takes her fish from her meal and goes and walks it up to Gyome and is like, here, you have my fish. You're way too skinny. You need to eat more. And this kind of like flatters Gyome, but he's like,
he does look
skinny. He looks very different from the one that we see now in modern, or in
so the amount of workouts
time.
He's doing. Oof.
Yeah, he's putting in work, clearly. So he kind of declines the food. He's like, here, like, I get you think I'm skinny, but I don't need the food. You need the food. You're a growing child. I'm good. But none of these people are related by blood, right? And they all live there together like a family, but they're not related, right? They're all orphans, and he's kind of taking care of them.
Pretty much just babysitting, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But one night, one of the children does not come home before dark, which is the curfew. You have to be back to the temple by dark. And he gets kind of set upon by a demon. And instead of being killed by this demon, he makes a deal with the demon where he's like, here, you let me live, and I'll lead you to the temple where there's way more people.
So he pretty much just leads him there, and I think I'm saying this right. Will this count if I get it wrong, since it's technically not a name?
Yeah,
count it because
you give me no break. Yeah, you give me no breaks.
Yeah. But he pretty much they're burning Wisteria.
You got this, Wisteria. Yeah, that's right.
And he pretty much just takes out all the burners, which, if you don't know, Wisteria is like bug repellent. Pretty much.
For demons. Yeah.
For demons.
Bug repellent for demons. Yep. So they're burning like an incense outside of the temple, and this child, who is Kaigaku,
obviously
goes and wipes that all out. So now they have no protection from any demons, and they're all asleep. And the demon basically walks right into the temple. I think he immediately kills 4 of the children. And then Gyome tries to save the other 4, but 3 of them don't listen to him, and they take off running in fear, and they are also killed. and that leaves just that little 4-year-old girl.
What's her name?
I have it in here somewhere.
For some reason, I want to say it starts with
Sayo.
like an S.
Sayo, yeah.
Would that be a C though?
No, I think it's an S. I think it's a Sayo is what I put. I don't know if that's right, but Sayo. I put it like I would need it to pronounce it properly. So I just spelled it in like to remind me how to pronounce it. But we learn also in this episode too that Guillaume is blind, which you can kind of gather that when you see him because he has no eye, like his eyes are just white and he's always crying.
Which I always wonder, is that how actual blind people are?
No, they I mean, I think some are more whited out than others, but no, blind people have just normal eyes.
They just look in random ways like.
I honestly, yeah, I don't want to say they look in random ways. They just look at nothing, if that makes any sense. So if you're looking at them, they're not going to move their eyes to like meet your eyes. Like they're not going to make eye contact with you because they can't see. So their eyes don't move really.
Can they even move their eyes since they can't really see?
I think that they can move they can move them, but I don't think there's any real purpose in doing so. So maybe it just, I don't know, dude. You'd have to ask somebody that's blind. Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know anybody that's blind.
I don't know anybody that's blind either. Although I think Mommy's like legally blind without her glasses. Yeah, there's like a scale once your eyesight gets so bad, you're like legally blind
without glasses.
Yeah, without glasses. Yep.
Which I think is offensive because if you're technically not actually blind, they just call you legally blind. But
right. So anyway, Sayo is the only one there that is left, and Guillaume finds it in his power to try and protect her, and he fights this demon and ends up whooping the crap out of this demon. I mean, decimating.
He punched him for so overly long, you don't even know.
I think he said he punched him until the sun came up, which was like the middle of the night. So it was like hours of punching him over and over and over. Yeah, super like ruthless.
I do not like break his knuckles or just his whole hand, his whole arm.
And it's cool because I think Guillaume says like he hated the feeling of doing it, but he's happy that it happened because he realized how strong, like the strength he possessed. Like he would have never known that if that demon hadn't come that night.
Which is weird because like we already said, he's super skinny. At least
he is super skinny. Yeah. But I think he realizes he's very strong, whether he's skinny or not. And in the morning, the police arrive. And this was so sad. Like I felt terrible for Guillaume for this, but they interview Sayo, who's the last remaining child from this massacre at the temple. And she says, in quotes, "The man is a monster. He's the one who did it." End quote. And the police take that as Guillaume is the guy who actually did this. And he says, like, I can't blame her. Like, she's a 4-year-old. Like, I don't think she was doing it maliciously.
She's probably horrified. He had no clue.
She's absolutely traumatized.
And for the record, maybe she didn't actually see anything.
She might not have.
See her
behind,
just like this, crying. Maybe she didn't see
crying.
Anything.
Yeah, maybe she didn't, and she just
crying for hours.
Well, yeah, but if you think about it, if she covered her eyes because she was scared, and then she didn't see anything, and then he finally is like, "Hey, everything's all right. You can open your eyes." She's gonna open her eyes and see that he's covered in blood and everybody else is dead in the room. Like it's gonna be a natural thing for a 4-year-old to think that that's the guy that did it, the guy that's covered in blood. Yeah. So,
and also, if I thought that, I'd also still be horrified.
Yeah, right.
Like, is he gonna kill me? Like, what?
Yeah. So Guillaume is thrown in jail and charged with the murder of all the children. Yeah. And I think the Demon Slayer master, what do we call him? DSCP, comes in and saves the day and gets him out of jail. So he releases him from prison. And we flash back to present day with Tanjiro and Guillaume, and he's like, hey, like, I can't blame that little girl for what she did to me. She's 4 years old. You're a really good kid. You've never lied. You've never done anything bad. You've always tried to stay the path, even though sometimes you stray. So I will help in every way that I can to help you stay on the path. And he kind of pats Tanjiro on the head. And I think that's the scene you wanted to talk about.
His head is... Here, let me rephrase that. His hand compared to Tanjiro's head is ginormous.
Ginormous, yeah.
I mean,
it's like what? It's like me grabbing the top of this can. Like,
no,
that's
literally
the equivalent. Yeah. So I thought this was super heartfelt because as he's patting Tanjiro on the head, it kind of fades back to the flashback of him patting the little girl on the head. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, this is so sad, dude.
I know, it's so sad.
Like, I feel so bad for him. But so he basically agrees to help Tanjiro on his path to beating Muzan. And we go back to another hut visit with Genya, and we see the crew eating again. And Genya's kind of going over like who he was introduced to first in the Demon Slayer Corps and stuff. Inosuke is being his annoying Inosuke self.
Yeah.
Stealing Zenitsu's fish because Zenitsu hasn't come to eat and nobody's seen him. And Tanjiro's like, hey, dude, put his fish down. Constantly. Yeah. Yeah. And I loved it. Like, I think this was last episode when he was eating the fish and he was just eating the bones as well. Like, he's just eating the entire thing. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there are some fish that you can eat the bones with because they're so small. Like, I don't know. Do you remember the fish we used to have New Year's Eve at Nani and Poppy's house?
Yes, I do.
Those little deep fried fish that Poppy used to make. Though some of those fish have little bones in them that you can eat, and they're just crunchy, really. I mean, it's not terrible. Mm-hmm. But big fish like he's eating would be miserable eating the bones from those things. Like, that's disgusting. But anyway, Tanjiro like calls him out. Like, hey, dude, you can't eat Zenitsu's fish, so put it back. And he actually listens, which I was surprised. And then Genya and Inosuke kind of get in a scuffle. I think Inosuke makes fun of him for not being able to use a breathing technique and calls him a loser or whatever, and they get into like a fight. And Tanjiro kind of sets off to go look for Zenitsu. Like, we don't know where Zenitsu is. Yeah. He's just gone.
Also,
and he finds...
Don't forget, I don't know if you forgot or anything. Just reminding you, don't forget to tell us, you did say later in this episode, or it was the next episode, I don't know, that you might know what the letter said.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna get to that right here, because this is right where I want to talk about it. So Zenitsu is finally... Tanjiro finds Zenitsu, and he's sitting on top of the boulder, and he is silent. Mm-hmm. Just like sitting on top of the boulder. And Tanjiro offers him the fish, I think. And Zenitsu starts talking, and he's not normal Zenitsu. He's not the loud, obnoxious. He's very... We've seen him like this, I think, in season 2. Yeah. There was like a time where he was like serious. We've seen him a couple times where he's like locked in. And that's what I got from this. Like, he's locked in.
Voice.
He's a real deep voice, real serious, no joking around, straight to business. And he basically is like, Tanjiro, don't worry about me. Worry about what you need to do, and I'll take care of what I need to do. So I think what that note said was certainly something to do with Kaigaku. Whether he was found or he was sent for, Zenitsu was sent for by Kaigaku, or they know where Kaigaku is, or Kaigaku's calling Zenitsu to come.
And I don't know if you remember, they did become Demon Slayers together. They did train with the same trainer.
Yeah.
At the same time and everything. So.
Yeah, so I do remember that. So that's what I think it says. I think it's something to do, and I think that's why he's so locked in. Because we did see them training together, but we didn't really see what happened with them, right?
No, we didn't.
I don't think that we did, but maybe we did. I can't remember. I feel like I want to say that Kaigaku like killed that trainer, but I could be wrong.
Probably.
I don't know. I might just be making that up in my head, but yeah, I definitely think that's what this note says. I think it's something. I think that's why Zenitsu is so locked in. I think we are heading towards a fight between those two, Zenitsu and Kaigaku. So we'll see if I'm right with when these movies come out. But I think that's where we're heading. So that's my guess. Yeah. You think I'm close in my guess or what?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I don't 100% know. I'm not confirming that or anything, but I think that's probably what it is.
Yeah, I think that's a safe guess. So Tanjiro kind of leaves the fish for Zenitsu and heads off towards Giyu's house. And he gets to Giyu's house and he is fighting with Shinigami in the backyard of the hut.
Fights everyone.
And it's cool. We get a little bit of a fight scene here
cool.
where they're both using their breathing techniques, and it eventually ends with them breaking their swords at the same time. And Giyu's like done, and Shinigami was like, "We'll just kill each other with our bare hands." Then
this guy, dude,
and Tanjiro's like, "Yeah, dude, he's so angry, man. He's so angry,
so angry."
Yeah,
like,
and
you need to chill out.
Tanjiro kind of talks him off the ledge by talking about red bean mochi, which is a Japanese dessert that apparently Shinigami loves. What flavor is it? Red bean.
Is it literally a red bean? What is a red bean?
It's a red bean. It sounds disgusting.
Yeah, it does.
When you live in America, because we eat our beans not as a dessert, right? Like our beans here are like baked beans or whatever. But it is actually really good. It's a sweet bean. It sounds disgusting. Trust me. There's nothing I'm going to say.
Place to get the mochi from, like, I think it was in Columbus after the Ohio State game. I saw red bean mochi and it just sounds so bad.
I think that you would like it. I think you would like it. It doesn't taste like beans. Like, I think that's everybody's concern, is that it's going to taste like beans. It doesn't. It's a sweet dessert. Like it's just a sweet flavor. It's a different flavor, but it's not disgusting by any. I've had red bean mochi here before. You might have even tried it, to be honest. Because didn't you try some of my mochi that I had?
I don't know, but I want mochi now. So
yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah. So Tanjiro kind of steps in and sweet talks him, and eventually gets knocked out by Shinigami and wakes up, and Shinigami was gone. He got mad and stormed off, and Giyu is there talking to him. He's like,
let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so angry. It's like
right on point for his character. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tanjiro's like, "Why were you guys fighting?" And Giyu's like, "Dude, we were training, like we were using wooden swords." He's like, "Oh, you were sparring. I'm sorry I interrupted." And he's like, "It's fine. And you actually gave me a great idea. I'm going to keep a piece of red bean mochi in my shirt to give to him every time I see him in hopes that we'll become friends.
And I'll sell my house if he gets a friend."
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think that's going to work, Giyu, but maybe go for it, brother. Like, yeah, if you want to give him red bean mochi every time you see him and hope that he just magically becomes your friend.
Oh, you're good. You do you, bro.
Yeah. So we flash over to Shinigami, who's walking like at nighttime down a path through the forest. And he's just being angry. Shinigami, like talking like, talking about Giyu and Tanjiro and how they're annoying, and he's trying to find him all this stuff.
He hates Tanjiro probably
just as much as everybody else. Yeah.
Maybe probably more. I think more than
maybe more. Yeah. Because didn't he stabbed Nezuko right when they first came too?
I think the best part in that episode is he says, "I don't respect you either because you stabbed Nezuko," and then just walks
Oh,
right
yeah,
off.
yeah.
That was the best thing ever. I might go back and watch that scene, actually.
That scene is hilarious,
He
yeah.
just walks off so carefree with Zenitsu on his back.
Yep.
Like, it's
So, he kinda stops walking down this path and then turns around quickly and snatches something out of the air, and then he turns his hand over, opens his hand up, and it's one of those demon eyeball bug things. And he comes to the realization that they've been infiltrated, so he takes off running. And we get a little go ahead.
Since we're almost at the end, we got a bit more to talk about. Start thinking about what we're gonna do. Trivia, quiz, something.
Yeah, we'll have to think of something. We flash to our boy DSCP, and he's laid out in bed with his nurse kind of taking care of him. And we see Muzan walking down a path in a forest towards a big gate. And we moved to the inside of that gate as the gate slowly opens, and
it's super foggy.
It's super foggy,
quiet,
and you hear
footsteps.
Yeah, dude, it's so good. That scene is so good, bro. It's so good.
It is though.
So good. It's just this slow, tense, like we know, stuff's about to pop off in this next episode.
And for somebody that hasn't watched the last episode, would be freaking out.
Like, oh my God, sure.
Oh my God, he's by what do we call him? DSCP.
DSCP. Yep. Yeah. So he has arrived. He has found where our boy is laid out, and he's here, and that is where we end this episode. Again, super haunting scene. The smoke, the fog, the gate slowly opening, hearing his footsteps, seeing his shadow in the fog. Like, the whole thing is so well done. So well done. But that is where we end this episode. Only one more after this, and this is the episode we've been waiting to get to, so I cannot wait to talk about it, because this...
If I'm being honest, the reason that I like this show so much is scenes like this, animations, the story, and how they somehow mix in comedy.
Yeah. It's got everything, man. It does. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think that's why it's so great.
Absolutely, yeah. And the animation is just through the roof good, dude. Like, so good. It's I love anime, obviously. But this anime, this is probably my top anime, and
I've only watched like one.
Saying a lot because No, you haven't.
What else?
You watched Sword Art Online. You watched Jujutsu Kaisen. We watched a little bit of Attack on Titan. You watched Vinland Saga. You've watched a lot of anime, bro.
Vinland Saga was really good, though.
Vinland Saga was really good. We need to watch that second season.
I mean, that was so
We need to watch that second season, yeah.
Rai did say it's really good.
He did say that you could watch that it was really good.
Yeah, and if we're being honest, it's probably exactly how this season's going. Training / he's doing his job. So job / job. Hopefully it gets something good. I just do not like the aspect he's older. I liked him when he was...
I liked him younger too, but I mean, he has to get older eventually. Yeah, it's just going to take some adjustment.
He was taking over his butt, and he was like, what?
He was a kid,
they never specify his age.
I don't think they did, no. Maybe they do in the manga. Guess, maybe they did. I want to say like 13 or 14.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe 14 or 15. I don't know. But what shall we do for our thing here? Should we do trivia? I mean, I think we're maybe out of top 5 things to do.
Well, we got to think of something. I mean...
Yeah, we do have to think of something. So we've done top 5 breathing techniques, demon slayers, right? There's really nothing else top 5 we could
Top 5. Have we done episodes?
That's not a bad idea.
But that would be
But
so
that
hard,
one,
dude. I don't
that might
know.
take that might take a little bit of research. Maybe that's
Because
something we can do for our next
I know,
episode.
yeah. It's just because
Yeah, let's do that.
they're all
Let's
really
do
good.
top 5 episodes for the end of the companion series. And then we'll off screen build our top 5 episodes
Mhm.
separately. And then we'll talk about them when we come on here. Like we'll each bring a top 5 list of episodes
Oh,
and
I
then we
thought
can talk
do
about
you wanna
them.
agree on some or bring our own?
Oh, bring our own and then we can agree. I mean, I'm sure we're going to have overlapping ones. Like there are some that I will certainly make your list, but so let's do trivia. We have not done trivia yet this
Gosh.
season.
True, we have it.
Which we did last companion series.
Quite a bit, actually.
And unfortunately, might have some overlapping questions because I don't remember what I asked you last time. So,
Well, it's been a while.
okay. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Question number 1 is how many siblings does Tanjiro Kamado have in total?
You know what? Gets 6.
Oh man, this one doesn't give me the answers.
New website. Doesn't give you the answers.
Yeah, what is up with that? I hate quiz sites that don't give you the answers immediately. Like I don't want I'm going to take in a test. It's trivia. You know what I mean?
If I'm right or not. Like, hey, so I'm out of that question because that was hard.
Okay.
I have no clue.
Who is the Love Hashira's love interest?
Obanai?
It is Obanai. Correct.
Okay. Learned that from the manga.
Oh my god, dude. What's with There we go. So the website that I was on had an ad over the question. How annoying is that? Like you have a trivia website and you have a giant ad banner over top of your question. What is Tanjiro's last name? I would hope you get this.
Oh, I don't know, dude. Like, yeah.
That is correct, Kamado. What is Tanjiro's greatest sense?
Smell.
That is correct.
Some
Doing
pretty
good so
easy
far.
questions so far.
These are very easy questions, yeah. Who was the first Hashira that Tanjiro met first in the mountains?
Oh, Giyu. Literally.
Yes, sir.
Like the first episode.
It's my boy. You better get that one right.
You're gonna go.
Who was the person who taught Tanjiro water breathing?
This is the thing. I always forget. If you give me a hint, just maybe. Even then, I bet you I won't get it.
It starts with his last name starts with a U.
I don't know. I'm giving up.
Really?
I just have no clue. I forgot. I always forget.
It's the guy with the red mask.
I know who he is. I just don't know his
Oro
name.
Kodaki.
Kodaki. No.
That's the easiest one, bro. You blew it. What is the demon's greatest weakness?
Wisteria? Like,
what is the one thing they always run from? No. What is the one thing they always run from? Think back to Mugen Train and seeing Akaza for the first time. What does he run from?
Sunlight.
Yes.
Good hint.
That is correct. That is correct.
That was a really good hint, though. Good thinking.
What is the name of the Demon Slayer swords?
Oh, see. I have no clue.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
I know.
You are out of practice with your Demon Slayer knowledge, bro.
It's just stuff that like we haven't talked about in so like just such a long time because it's irrelevant.
Cannot believe that you're missing.
Now you can't be talking because I bet you didn't know it either.
It's Nichiren swords. Yes, I did know that.
Oh.
That is, yeah, that's so easy, bro. Okay, final question.
Okay, I needed the final question, right? It's a tradition.
How many days did people have to survive for the final selection?
7.
That is correct. You got it right. So you missed 2. You missed 2. I will give you a bonus question. If you get this one right, we'll give you 100% on the quiz.
I bet it's gonna
sound
be
like
hard.
A plan?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what type of common bird serves messages to demon slayers?
Oh no! Is it like a bird that I would know?
Yes.
Is it? It's a real bird.
It is a real bird. Yes.
I don't want to say like an eagle because that's just so obvious.
No.
Man, dang it!
I'll give you multiple choice. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Crows, hawks, eagles, cardinals.
Crows.
Final answer?
Yeah, 100%.
That is correct.
Yes! Let's go.
So you got your 100%. You got lucky. You missed some easy questions there. I'm very disappointed in your Demon Slayer knowledge here. I'm very disappointed in it. Like you missed Nichiren swords, which is like, what? You missed Orokodaki, which is like, what are you doing with your life? Anyway, I think that does it for us here on part 4 of our companion series. We have one more episode left, episode 8 of season 4, before we move into the movies. And God knows how long it's going to take for those movies to be done and released. It's going to be forever, but we'll get through it, hopefully.
It might actually be the next World Cup, fun fact.
Probably, yeah, by the time they're done, yeah. So, do you have anything else?
I don't.
All right. Subscribe to us here on YouTube, Showboys Podcast. Go over to our other channel, which Dad from the podcast has revitalized, Showboys Gaming. Subscribe there. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.